Should realize now.
Yeah. Jeez. Back-to-back weeks of technology errors. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to another episode of the Sweet Shots podcast. Lucas Johnson alongside Mark Johnson and Chuck Johnson back for another episode at the wonderful St. Andrews. Gents, good to be back.
Yeah.
It was kind of a long weekend, but we're back. We made it.
How fast did that week go for you guys?
Went really fast.
Quick.
Yep,
Quick.
with the holiday. I'm still messed up. I think it's Monday. But
Did you
it's
get to the
Tuesday.
lake, Chuck?
Got to the lake finally. Got it opened up. Ready to go.
Well, that's the true sign of summer. You get out to the lake.
Mm-hmm.
You get to relax. Did you get a cruise in?
Not a lot of relaxing.
Not a lot of just more work.
Nope, it was
Yeah.
work. But it's okay. It's the lake.
Well, and that's
fine.
where it's like, finally you get some of the warm weather. You feel good about it.
Yep.
Especially around here after how bad that winter was. And now we
Agreed.
finally got some warm weather. The wind's not going away though. We still got to deal with that.
Yep.
A lot
Windy.
of wind.
We're going to talk about the wind later.
Yep. Exciting.
As it
Tips.
relates to golf.
Thank you.
As it relates to golf.
As our
Just
listeners.
general. We turn now into a
Yep.
meteorology podcast.
Yep.
No, I mean,
Great.
we're forced to play. If you're going to play golf, you're going to play golf up here.
Yep.
Really, Midwest. You're going to play in wind. So we're going to break
tips.
that. We're going to give some tips later,
Yep.
but you got to stick around to hear the tips.
Yeah.
And then one of us had a big old bachelor party. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll hear some stories. Touched on that a little bit.
The appropriate ones, yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Well, Dad's in the room, so we want to make
Oh,
sure.
there.
it's-
Oh, he doesn't have to worry about me. I think it would be the fiance that would be listening to the podcast.
Does she
That
listen?
would be a true test
Does
if
she
she
listen?
listens. I only when I ask her to.
Yeah, there you go.
So
anyway,
that would be the true test.
okay.
No,
maybe some
we'll
stories.
get into that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great episode. Just the three of us back together. No guest today, but it's gonna be a good one. I think. I was going for a little more foreshadow with the wind. And then you get a call back, and but you guys, you're direct, straight to the point. I love it. It's good.
I do want to mention we had scheduled a guest today, Holloway, and he couldn't make it, but we wanted to have him on. He's if anybody's been to Sweet Shots and you've been in the lounge, any of the bars, you've probably encountered Holloway. Very unique individual. He's been with us since day one. He's going to move to the Twin Cities. He's going to be joining Coach Fleck in the team. That's the coach, right? Is that his name? down there?
PG.
Yeah,
Yep.
at the
Rowing
University
the
of
boat.
Minnesota. So Holloway came from Miami, played football up at Mayville State, school at NDSU after that, and helped with some football coaching there. He has a goal in life to be a football coach, and he's really a magnetic personality, and he's going to have an opportunity to influence young people. And I just appreciated how he absorbed and embraced our culture here. And in some ways, he was a big part of kind of being that conduit that explained and lived out our culture. So I just wanted to pick his brain a little bit on the show and say thank you. And then some of his story and some of his motivation and things is really inspiring. So maybe another time via phone.
Yes.
There we go.
Hopefully we get him back on here because yes, that would have been. He's a great guy to know. I'm glad I got to know him here over the course of over the year, and I know just every time he interacts with someone around here, they light up. They love it. So yeah, hopefully we'll get him in here. Just a great individual Holloway is. Great to see him. So
Yep, agreed.
get him on there. But moving forward with us guys, I wanted to touch on this. Might be one of the best times of year as far as sports fans go because of the championship season. How many things are just rolling in as far as you got obviously NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals.
Yep.
The Indy 500 was the last weekend. You had Monaco, which is one of the most historical races for Formula One. You had, the PGA Champ was 2 weeks ago. It seems like championship season all over again. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of them in there, but some good sports to watch. I know last night, Monday, we had Game 7 for NBA Finals.
Wasn't much of a game though.
But it's Game 7. You
I
gotta
know,
like Game 7.
I know, but it was when I tuned it off, and they were up by like 20 in the fourth. I'm like, game's over. Miami, they keep winning. Ace seed,
Underdog story.
unbelievable.
I'm not engaged with the NBA at all.
Well,
I'm
I have
not
a hard
even
time, too.
interested in their playoff. Yeah,
And
I was going to rip
I'm-
them.
And I'm frustrated because Jimmy Butler played for Timberwolves.
Yeah, then he left.
Jack, and here they are under him. He's just basically single-handedly leading them, and now they're in the finals.
But
Yeah.
I will say the Stanley Cup Finals. That's
Yep.
my backup team, the Vegas Golden Knights.
One of us is going to be in Vegas, and the
Ooh.
Stanley Cup Finals will be happening. So I did throw out a little hint to my lovely wife that perhaps I need to.
That's got to be a tough ticket to
Sneak in.
get, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, you're a high roller, though. I bet
Comps.
MGM's going to probably comp you to the game, probably give you a ride back and
Probably.
forth.
Probably.
That'll be fun.
That's what I'm thinking.
Put some feelers out. That would be a great atmosphere. I know. Well, like when last time we were there, I think Emily and I got in for $18.
What?
Yep, $18. The ticket fees were more than the tickets.
Was there a game going on?
Yeah. We only stayed for about half of it, but it was
after the game. They had to pick up garbage.
Right. They had to do some work.
no,
It's like
it was good.
animals and scandals here.
Exactly. Exactly.
That was
18
thrown
bucks.
out last
Yeah.
episode too. I
Every
think.
week we're going to throw it out.
Animals and scandals. And it was we got in. We had dinner plans that night, but because it was so cheap, it was like standing room only up top.
Yeah,
You had the
yeah,
bar
yeah,
right
yeah.
behind you. No, it was a great time.
That's awesome.
So we did have I can't imagine you're gonna get in for $18.
Probably
so
not. Probably not.
It'd be a tough get.
We'll see.
Well, just with your winnings, just play early, right when you
Yes.
get to Vegas.
Yep. Everything I win.
Yeah, take them for whatever's the appropriate amount, whatever you need to get
Yep.
good seats, and then
Yep.
parlay that into the game.
Love it.
Simple.
Yep.
I don't know why we're even worrying about the price of the ticket.
He's right.
Literally in 20 minutes, you can have
I got
your
this.
pick of the tickets.
Mhm.
Take him down.
Um,
Do we want to get him on? He just walked in.
we can do that. Or
Come on over,
Okay.
Holloway.
Yes.
After all of our kind words,
we
sure
already
enough, here
talked
he
about
is.
you.
we did. Yep. First 5 minutes.
Look at
The roast.
look at the maroon and gold he's sporting
Oh
too.
my goodness.
It's just like
Wow.
what?
He was ready.
I have. Well, yeah.
Put that on there.
I was gonna say it's better than the other green and yellow you used to wear in here.
I don't know.
I know you don't know, but I know. I mean, it's born and raised in Minnesota, Mark. We should appreciate that.
Yeah, it is a little easier to
Yeah.
take. And everyone, this is Holloway. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome on,
Yeah.
Holloway.
Thank
great
you. I'm
to-
glad to be here.
Yes.
Glad to
Yeah,
sound
thanks.
nice on this, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here. I made it.
We made it. And we made it.
So yeah, this maroon and gold.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm fine with it
Yeah.
in all sports except hockey,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Gotcha.
And so you're probably okay with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't,
okay.
I don't like hockey, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, so that doesn't bother you. But I introduced you without you being here, just talking about this gentleman we were going to have on the show, but for whatever reason, now that you're here, let me back up and I'll go. The reason why you're on the show, Holloway, you've been on with us since day one,
Mm-hmm.
and you really you're that straw that stirs the drink, and you are a bartender, so that's
It's fitting.
appropriate. Yeah,
Absolutely.
But you captured what we're doing as a new entity with creating culture and an environment where staff are valued, and it's really personal relationships that I see you thrive at, and that I believe is going to make you an exceptional influencer on young people in your role as a coach. And I thought, boy, it'd be fun to talk about that a little bit and what makes you tick. So can you just give us a little bit of your history, how you got here, and what your plans are, how you're going to make a difference in this world through sport?
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you for the introduction. Appreciate that. A quick text message would have been just fine. A reminder, hey, Holloway, I know you're across the street
That's
packing
funny.
boxes,
Right.
but
Hey, remember we're on.
remember we're on at
Yeah.
this time.
Right.
He blamed you though. FYI, he
doesn't
goes,
surprise
it
me.
depends on how long Chuck goes with the meeting in the morning.
Right. Doesn't surprise me. Oh yeah, actually, I do lead the meeting prior to this. So
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was his whole
My bad.
his
My bad.
breakdown.
Okay.
But I'm Holsum Holloway. Dwayne Holloway is my given name, and from Miami, Florida. Born and raised in Hialeah, to be more specific. In Miami, it's a suburb of Miami. I got brought here to Mayville, North Dakota, from Miami, from my defensive coordinator, Coach Coach Anton Anderson. He's from Tampa, Florida, so he brought me and a bunch of other guys from South Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, all to the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
We'd never seen the school, signed the scholarship, got all excited, and never seen what we were walking into.
Wow.
That's
in
fantastic.
Mayville. It was interesting, man. You had Paula's Diner, you had a bunch of bars, and a gas station with a stoplight.
Yeah.
That was about it in Mayville at the time.
9-hole golf course.
Oh,
You were not there.
didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
You sure that's Mayville or is that Portland?
Well,
That's a suburb of Mayville.
Okay.
Portland.
Yeah, it's beautiful there, man.
Yes.
Great people.
Yep.
And my parents were actually terrified when we got there, but they trusted me, and that was the biggest thing. You know, they thought the whole race thing would be a big issue. And
Yeah.
at this time, I had a frohawk, not my long locks that I have now. So they were like, you know, we're a little iffy on the whole thing, but my recruiter reassured them that he would take care of me as far as on the field, off the field, academically, and he did all those things in his time there before he left to go be a high school head coach in Tampa. So we both left Mayville at the same time, so that was pretty good. But I'm very happy to have been there. I left there to go to NDSU. After 3 years, I blew my hamstrings after squatting and then doing competition sprints. And I still kind of hold that against the strength and conditioning coach because there was no need for us to do running after we just had a heavy leg day where we power cleaned and we front squatted and back squatted and things of that nature. So I blew my hammy, and Mayville doesn't have the budget for surgery. So they were like, hey, go ahead and sign this paper as a medical retirement and we'll take care of the rest of your schooling. So I was like, oh, well, okay.
Wow.
And I did not like being in Mayville and not being one of the athletes. So I decided to get out of there and transfer to NDSU. And that transition was a little shaky, but things got a lot of better over time. And NDSU was great to me, amazing. My time there is, well-renowned. Had a great time.
Yeah, I know. I've heard.
And at that time at NDSU, I started working at OB. And as a bouncer there and wanted to become a bartender, but things were a little iffy with them as far as they didn't know if I could be a volume bartender because I wouldn't be Holloway. I wouldn't be able to do the talking to people.
Right.
And there it's all about make the drinks fast, get them out your face, take the money. And that wasn't me. And even when I tried, and it really hurt that they wouldn't give me the promotion. I thank God for it because it worked out.
It did.
I was able to find this place. And the funny part about me getting here is I rode by and I'm like, wow, they finally got some movement going over here because I live across the street. And
Movement.
something's like, hey,
humans there.
Yeah, just pull over there and see what happens. So I turn over here, and the whole time I'm used to knowing somebody in the area. Said because when you're a small city like this, you know somebody that knows somebody. Make a call. So it's the first place I ever went to where I didn't know anybody.
Wow.
And I leave here with dozens amongst dozens of really good friends.
That's cool.
And
That's awesome.
Alex, do you remember the
Oh, yeah.
cook, Alex? So he's out there having a cigarette. And I pull up, like, hey, man, you guys hiring? And he goes, oh, yeah, of course. I could get you in here with some folks. I come in here, I sign a piece of paper, and nothing. Didn't hear anything back for a couple of days. But I wanted it. I wanted to work here. So I walk in again, and AJ's down there, and Marcus is down there. The next couple of days I come back on like a Thursday. I'm like, hey, I put in an application. I sat down, wrote here, nobody's gotten back to me. So Marcus goes, what do you want to be? And I'm saying, I want to bartend. And luckily, they had just not heard back from a couple other bartenders because he would have turned me away because they had a bunch of people already signed and ready to go. And we meet Pat. We come up the steps, and at this time, a bunch of walls and stuff weren't here yet, and a bunch of poles. And Pat hears me say Mayville State hired on the spot.
Yeah, darn right.
What are the chances of that?
No kidding.
Crazy. Because he goes, Holloway. Here's somebody over there going, Holloway.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I play football at Mayville. He goes, hire him.
No doubt. Yes.
Hire him.
That's
You
great.
Dwayne Holloway, the sack record holder at Mayville. Yeah, that's me. I mean,
Hired.
I don't like to brag about it, but yeah, that's me. So hired on the spot. And
That's
here
awesome.
we go.
So my funny, just
Yep.
when talking about Holloway, is being at Sanford, we were there at the ER visit and with our youngest son, and the nurse looks over and I have my Sweet Shots hat on. She's like, Sweet Shots? Here, I thought she was going to give a compliment about how fun the venue is, the great food. It was like, I go, you familiar with it? Oh, yeah, that's where Holloway works.
Yeah. It's about right.
That's it. The ladies, that's all they associated with. That's where Holloway's at. I'm like, yep.
That's where Holloway's.
Yeah. Have you played the golf or eaten the food or anything?
Nothing.
Yeah.
No.
That's about par for the course.
Well, you came to our one of our early staff meetings where we're doing staff training, and this is the impact. This is the greatest impact you had, and it was just a switch flip for me. And I'm like, okay, this guy gets it, and I'm gonna put you on the spot because I'm gonna ask you to remember what you said.
Okay.
But I threw out because I'm a Notre Dame fan.
Ah.
Coach Lou Holtz, great inspirational speaker and
That he is.
whatnot. So I had something about Lou Holtz out there, and I asked who knew the quote. If anybody knew the quote, I had a prize for if anybody knew the quote or who it was from, and no one, crickets, nothing. Holloway, reluctantly, you go, that's Lou Holtz,
Reluctantly.
but I'm a Miami fan.
Yeah.
And then you countered with another quote.
I did.
Do you remember what it was?
Of course. I mean, it might be.
Will you share that with us?
Absolutely.
All right.
I'll give a backstory, and
Yes.
then I got you. So you walk out after saying this, and the day is done before we split up.
Mhm.
And I don't know who he is at the point. So I talk to people. It's just how I am. So I go, hey, that quote was okay. Pretty good. But I got a better quote for you. And at this time, I didn't put all the ambiance in it and the way I fluctuate my voice when I'm public speaking. But I just said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you've done. But people will never forget how you made them feel.
That's right.
Dr. Maya Angelou. And the look on Mark's face.
Yeah.
Good God. I was like, oh, man, he's going to get me tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it deep down inside.
Yep.
And, you were like, wow, kind of blown away. The next day comes up. And I'm trying to avoid him. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm like, I know he's going to find
We have more
me.
training, right?
Yeah, we had more
day
training.
2 of training. Yes.
And man, oh man, I'm walking behind a couple people. I kind of turn my head this way. Mark's on this side. Hey. You think you want to say that quote in front of everybody? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I sit up front, and the whole time I'm waiting on him to give me the cue. And I get up, and the first thing I notice when I turn around is like, oh crap, a bunch of these people come to OB. So they know exactly, they know who I am.
Yeah.
So they're starting to smile, and they're like, oh, he's about to drop a bomb on us, right? And so of course, I go through the quote, and that quote meant so much to me because it's true. I mean, how you say what you say, and the fact that you do something to somebody, they can forget that, but they won't forget the heartbreak.
Exactly.
You know, they won't forget the excitement or that times that you were there for them. It may get cloudy as to exactly what you said to make them feel that way,
Right.
but the feeling, they'll never forget that.
Absolutely.
And
I love that.
And that kind of encapsulates how you encounter your coworkers here, how you encounter the guest. I don't know that I've ever heard or met anyone that hasn't left an interaction with you and it's been positive. You have a gift, and young people that you're going to coach are going to be recipients of that gift. Unfortunately, you're leaving us to go do that somewhere else, but that's a true gift all the way. And that in essence is why I wanted to have you on the show. Just, kind of pick your brain a little bit, because that's an exceptional skill you have.
Thank you.
Is it God-given, or did you learn it? Do you practice it?
Ooh.
How do you make people, how do you do what you do?
I think it's a mixture of all of that, because when something is a pure gift and it's not like a physical thing like being 6'5", you got to kind of work on that. I do give a lot of credit to my mother, because she taught me the power of saying good morning. And And I never once thought about it. I thought it was something I always did. Like, I'm always saying hey to people till I was writing my thesis. And I'm like, wow, where did this come from? This confidence to just be able to look people in the eyes and shake hands and hugs and all kinds of stuff. And look past the titles and skin color or classification, any of those things, and treat people like people. And that's what we are when you really boil us down to, blood and guts is, we're a heartbeat, we're human beings. And when you treat people that way, but it starts with that initial good morning with the smile. It can change an entire day, a mood, whatever they're going through, to have that interaction. So it did start out in about the 3rd or 4th grade, getting on a bus and saying good morning to my bus driver. All the other kids walk right past her every day.
Yep.
And I said good morning to her. And it's because my mom said in the car one day, she just goes, if you do anything today, make sure you say good morning to your bus driver and to all your teachers.
Love it.
And I never thought anything of it. Just, hey, good morning, Miss
Nope.
Green. Good morning, Miss So-and-so. Good morning, Mr. So-and-so. And the years would pile up. And every time we would run into them in Miami, or people would talk about me, or my siblings would go to the same school that I did, they would always say, man, that Dwayne is always saying good morning.
Yeah.
That's great. He's such a positive kid. So yeah, that I have to give to my mom. And my dad was the one that taught me to never be afraid of my gift, to the way that I can speak and to read a lot of books. And I'm like, how is reading equal to speaking? And he's like, well, if you read out loud, what are you doing? You're speaking.
Sure.
I was like, oh, all right. So then I start reading a bunch of books and out loud, and here we are.
That's
I'm
awesome.
A blabbermouth, so here we are.
Well, you do have a gift, and from our seat, being able to watch it, Holloway, you got a talent, and it was fun watching you interact with our staff, and you knew the staff. They were, some of them, it's their first job ever. 16, 17-year-olds to 30-year-olds. Didn't matter the age, didn't matter their role. You always gave them the time of day, and I know they appreciated that. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you.
So moving on, like moving into your life, obviously you're getting into going to U of M. So you're getting working with the football team. What's the exact role? How does your life previously going to help you in your next role being with the football team? Because it's kind of a flip from a bartender to
just a little
bit. Right?
Yeah, ever so slightly. I think the main thing that'll be is still keeping the main thing as far as people. And yeah, they're going to be 6'5" now, 6'6". They're going to be 380 pounds or 280, whatever, 310. But they're still going to be young men. And getting into coaching that's been my thing. I don't know I'll be Nick Saban winning national championships. I don't know if that'll be me. I do know that I'll be the one that, when my time is done and time has moved on, they'll talk about how I treated them. How I remembered their birthdays and their wives' birthdays and their kids' birthdays and their majors and help them get degrees. That's the kind of stuff that I really think about. So
good for you.
Yeah, because that being a great NFL guy that spits them into the first round, second round, yeah, you help them get there. But did you take that guy from the inner city and really help him get a degree? And now he owns some car dealership where he gives hundreds of jobs out to people.
Right.
And he thinks back on Coach Holloway was the one that did that for me.
Yep.
That's the way I think about it. So I am going to be an intern at the University of Minnesota on a defensive line. Similar to what I did with NDSU and what I did my last year at Mayville, where it is a non-paid thing. And since I'm done with school, it's a non-paid school thing. So I'll basically be a volunteer, but I'll be able to have the experience that I could never, a dime couldn't get. Being able to travel with the team and get in there and get the trust to watch the film and help these young men get better at that. So the defensive line coach, I'll be his direct assistant, holding bags and writing stuff down. It'll be a little humbling. Probably a good thing for me. It'll be a little humbling for me, but I feel like I'll make it my own and I'll figure it out. And the one thing I want to always continue to be is still be Holloway, still be myself.
Yep.
So I'll probably end up talking when I'm not supposed to, or saying something when I'm not supposed to, or stepping out of line, or dancing, getting caught on ESPN dancing on the sideline.
We'll see it. We'll see it.
God, Holloway. Yeah, that'll be me. Yep.
Do you know anything about the defensive coordinator? Have you know the individual or done any research as to?
Well, I've done a little research on him. I haven't had a chance to meet him yet. I've
Okay.
only met with Coach Winston, Coach Debo, who's the person I'll be working for on the defensive line. But,
Okay.
Minnesota's had some of the best defenses over the last
Mhm.
couple of years, top 15 program defensively wise. And can't wait to be a part of
That's
it.
awesome. Good for
Add
you.
what I can.
When's that start for you, Holloway?
July 1st.
Okay.
So I'm moving a month ahead so that I can kind of figure out the terrain. Minneapolis is
Sure.
when you've been here for so long, almost 9 years in the state of North Dakota, get real comfortable, real relaxed. And moving to Minneapolis, I have to get a little bit more Miami in me and be a little bit more aware and lock my doors and
Right.
watch my surroundings when I'm pumping gas. And because you don't do that here.
No, it's a little different.
No, we're very relaxed here.
Well, when you become that Nick Saban and you are leading an organization, don't forget about us, and we want to be up there. Even if it's maroon and gold, whatever the color is, we'll support you.
I'll just get you a generic
That's
black
a,
polo.
that's,
like
I was
that.
going to say, that's a lot. For Chuck to be like, I don't even care, it's maroon and gold. That's a
I'd
lot.
wear it.
That's a big...
Yep. No,
He does, but it's me, so I gotta
Notice,
still look the other
notice
way.
he's quiet, though. He hasn't...
No, I'm
said
a
any-
Gopher football fan. I have no
Yeah.
problem with Gopher football.
Me either.
At all. And now I'm even more
Yes.
drawn to it.
Absolutely.
That D line better play well.
Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'll believe
well,
it when you
well,
start wearing maroon and gold. That's my thing. That's
He was recruited to play golf there. He went to an Ohio State football game. What a great setting.
Yeah, how about this?
Did you see
How
it?
it was probably sophomore year. Went to a recruiting visit there,
Mhm.
and so the coach knew me. I was going to wear my Letterman's jacket from Shanley.
Uh-oh.
He knew who I saw. Well, they were playing Ohio State.
yeah, red and white, not smart.
I matched Ohio State on my recruiting visit to Minnesota.
No.
Good God.
And
Play
then, of
hard to
course,
get.
I
Nothing
got-
wrong with playing hard to get.
I
And of
was
course, I get in
actually-
the student section and I almost got beat up. And the guy that took me there, he's like, guys, just relax. He's in high school, man. Like, just cool it.
I was at that game, actually.
Were you really?
Yeah, when they do first out of COVID, 2021.
No, this was,
Yeah, how young do you think I am?
Well,
This is high school, man.
you look young.
Yeah, he does.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
This was probably 2015.
Oof.
Yeah.
14,
Oh,
15.
yeah, I was in Mayville,
Hmm.
probably eating ramen noodles and
Sure. Scraping by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to miss being in the lounge. And here's the case in point. 2 weeks ago, I'm in the lounge. And Mr. Holloway's over there. Do you need a shot? I'm like, no, I'm good. Can I get you a shot?
It's 10 in the morning.
The service is phenomenal. But I'm like, I'm good. No shot. Okay. Half hour later, the other bartender walks by. Greg, I think Greg was working.
yeah, absolutely.
And he has this liquid in a shot glass that I've never seen before. It's like a raspberry looking deal. I'm like, well, that looks like an interesting shot. Just said it just like that. Holloway, bionic ears across the room. Shot. All right, Chuck. I mean, just like that. Johnny on it. Only because I mistakenly said the word. And I'm like, oh God. So you set me up. You had to. One last one for the road. It was good.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious because Chuck he has this no yes approach to him most times. It's like if you push hard enough, he'll take it,
Right.
depending on what it is. I can't hand him Patron or anything like
No,
that.
he knows better.
That's a no, 110%. But a couple of ultras in, and you got him.
A couple of ultras in.
You got to know their weakness.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 ultras and Chuck's open book.
No.
Two ultras. No, what I really enjoy, Holloway, is it seems that your approach is you don't focus on you focus on others.
Yeah.
Sure,
well
and
said.
it's whether that's successful in bartending, it's going to be successful in coaching because you're going to invest and be invested in those young people, and they're going to be better for it.
I hope so.
We're better for having you around
Yep,
and knowing you,
absolutely.
Holloway. I know that as a fact. So we're really blessed that you spent some of your life with us. And this isn't goodbye. What's the saying? We'll see
you
you.
later. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
we'll see you.
goodbyes.
We'll,
See
it's
you
not-
later.
yeah, we'll see you later.
How about one final parting words of wisdom, Holloway,
Oh,
from
man.
a man? I'll put you on the spot here, but
Oof.
Jeez.
Okay. Well, I will say this. Never ever forget who you are. I think that's the biggest thing. You can't forget who you are at your nucleus because that is what comes out when you're angry, when you're sad, when you're drunk, when you're overly emotional is who you really are. So don't pretend to be someone else.
Lovely. That's awesome.
That's about it. I mean, I tried it. I tried to be Mr. Serious. I tried to be do the things by the book because this is what the boss wants. And I always felt like crap. Always. And, you know, if my mouth isn't moving, it hurts. I'm always trying to talk and bestow things upon other people and speak life into other people because you just never know the power of words. And like I said, just a simple good morning, or you can do this, or you should try this, or hey, maybe you should go for that promotion. The funny thing I say that is Colin was wondering about becoming a red shirt.
Yeah.
And wondered if he was going to be good enough.
Yeah.
I just looked at him and was like, of course you will.
Yeah.
Next
And
day he's wearing a red shirt.
And he's excelling. He's doing a great job for us. So, yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
It's how it works sometimes, man.
That's right.
You put it into him and see what happens. But I will say this before I go. I have to thank you two. I have never seen owners, GMs, whatever title you all have today, CEO, COO, of just that every single day here, present. I seen you pick up plates, seen forks fall on the floor. You have no problem picking it up. It's not, hey, go pick this up, person that works for me. You go do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that showed the kind of people that we had running this place from the top all the way down to me.
Cool.
And you never made us feel less than or on another level or had to be, I'm authority and you're not. And that is not as common as you would think. Most people would try to throw that in your face. And you all never did. From the laughs to joking around to the dancing with us, even though Mark has 2 left feet.
I love it.
The playful banter about UND and NDSU, you always were very open with me and other people. So I do want to tell you all thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Kind words. Thank you.
Well, we're glad we got you on here, Holloway. I know that was definitely, it was a somber start to the show because we were like, man, I wish he was here. But no, this was great. It was great that it worked out. Thank you so much for stopping by and sharing those words of wisdom. I think we're all better for it as far as, you know, I think just say good morning thing.
Simple
that's
right?
Your mom was onto something there. That is really, really good stuff.
Hey, I got a question. People want to get more of Holloway. You have a podcast too, don't you?
I do, but based on Big Ten and NCAA, I had to get rid of my podcast and my YouTube channel that was dedicated to University of Miami. University of Miami football. That's how I got good on speaking on this and looking in the camera and things of that nature. I ran a YouTube channel from 2018 through a couple months ago.
Oh, very cool.
Talking about Miami recruiting, broke down film,
Really?
broke down all the games, all that stuff, and I had to get rid of it in order for the internship to, go into effect.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. So maybe a pause on that little endeavor of your life for now.
And then once you can always come back in the media. I feel natural doing this. So
very good.
Hopefully I do well enough where I could be up there talking about young men. So
very
awesome.
cool.
Well, thanks again, Holloway. Stick around. We're going to get into some golf, and hopefully you are all better for listening to a little bit of Holsum Holloway here.
There it is.
Thanks again for listening. We'll be right back.
This segment brought to you by the Sweet Shots Terrace. Live music every Thursday night, 6 to 8:30 this week. Annabelle Maher, the talented, very young Annabelle Maher. She's recorded Nashville worked with other artists, and it's a pleasure to have her. LJ, you heard her.
She just released her own album. I think she's 16 years old. She's been down to Nashville and collaborated. She's got a ton of original stuff. Sounds really, really good. I mean, it's like, if you enjoy country music, she's got it. And it's her original stuff, and it sounds really good. She is really, really talented. I'm excited.
Fantastic.
This Thursday.
If you can't make it, tell your friends. That's the Sweet Shots Terrace. You catch happy hour. Stick around for great sunsets, and it's a great spot to be. This Thursday, live music. Let's listen to music today. Or Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was great. Holloway made it. That was really cool.
Yeah,
it's
good.
always good to talk to him. He definitely brightens up a room when he's here. So that was great that he made it. But before we were talking about, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention it, we've got some high school golf coming in. We talked about championship season. It is now, we're right in the middle of regional sectionals on the way to state for some area
That's right.
high schools. And I know Moorhead, I believe, was playing
Buddies today.
right?
Yep.
And this is
Yep.
recorded Tuesday, so it's going to come out Wednesday. Results will probably be posted by then. But boy, they have a good squad this year. I mean, looking at, I think, throw out Zach Berniking. He works here, and he's on that section squad.
Yep.
And I've had the pleasure to work with a couple of those guys on the squad. They got some great talent, and I know they were starting to turn it around going into sections. So that's a fun squad to watch there.
A couple Simoniches.
Yeah. Yep. That's a strong name in the Moorhead bubble. I know Ian playing for
Drew
NDSU and
Drew and Joey, right? I think are the two right
yep.
now.
I know Joey and did Drew make the section team?
He was on it. Yeah,
nice.
I saw the tweet from the coach.
Very cool.
Him and Lammers, Corton.
He's a UND guy. He's going to UND.
Joe's going to UND.
And then you mentioned Berna King.
Matt Grammer's on there, right? I know he was third place at our Sweet Shots Invitational here. So that kid can play.
Bombs it.
He's good.
Hits it hard. Left-handed, too.
He's a lefty.
Is he?
Southpaw. Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's exciting. Hopefully they can get out of their section. Alex tends to have a really good team and then move on to state. That'd be great.
And they've historically had success when they get to state. I mean, these teams up here compete very well with the city's teams. Not a problem at all. So, the Simonich name, you think Ian playing at NDSU, I may have or may not have mentioned it before. His dad, Mike, played for me when I was coaching at Concordia.
They were,
right.
I think it was briefly mentioned in some of the stories.
That's how old I am.
You are old.
That's scary.
Well, you were my golf coach. That's how the age difference here. Golly. Think of that.
I was like 23 and I was your golf coach.
He was one of the guys at that point.
Was. Yes.
I was 24. I was maybe 24.
The difference was they trusted him with the keys.
That's
just
scary.
barely.
Think of that.
I was pretty young.
I think I just turned 21 because I was legal to go to the bar when we traveled.
Which was a big concern for golf trips.
It was. Well, based on the team
It was
we
a different
had.
era. Yeah, I mean, it was a different time. But back to the high school kids. The Spuds, they've got a good thing going over there, and they just keep it rolling. So
Coach Brady's doing a nice job.
Yeah, he's
very much so.
He's got a lot of energy, and he's great at helping those young men think themselves around a golf course.
Yeah,
you're always going to have adversity on a golf course. What do you do with it? And I think he's got them in a good mindset, and they're talented. So let's see what happens.
It's a really good combination. So best of luck to those guys. They're again, this is recorded Tuesday, so they're playing today. So when you're listening to this, take a look at those because that's a great squad. And then on the North Dakota side of things, I believe for Class A, they had their, I think it's called the WDA out on the western half. They had their conference, and for the life of me, I can't figure out where to find the results on that. But then the EDC, the eastern side of teams, I think are this week. They're playing this week to decide who's going to state. And again, there's a ton of great talent around the area, and I know Cheyenne is probably the heavy favorite going into that. I believe they just set a school record at Meadows.
The Meadows
last week, I think.
Yep.
A lot
That's
of scores, and then even
that was the Don Johnson Invitational.
That's right. Yeah, the Shanley Invite.
That's pretty cool. Your grandfather, our father,
in memory.
Yeah.
Yep.
Longtime golf coach at Shanley. For those that don't know, and the medalist Charlie Solberg shot 68, co-medaled with Nate Pearl.
Yep.
Cheyenne. So that's good. That's good score out at Meadows.
Really good score.
And then Cheyenne has 69, 69, 74.
Yeah,
their
Wilhelm.
high score was 74. That's a really good squad. I know they've pretty much dominated all year. I think they've won or tied for first in a lot of them.
Wow.
I think Davies they got a really solid squad as well. Shanley's been lurking right around that fourth, fifth spot.
Red River too. Looking at Red River, they had 4 in the top 10.
Yep, between they got Carson Scarpert, so another.
Yep.
We talked about Jake at NDSU, his cousin Scarpert, Carson playing at Red River. So there's a lot of. We talk about it every time we talk about high school golf, about the talent, but definitely follow that because there is just some great golf being played around the area, and a lot of these guys are moving on to play at the college level, and there's I would say 4 years down the road, you're going to see a big change. But, you look at the quality golf they play right now, it's still really good golf to watch.
It is.
Obviously, shooting 68 at Meadow, I mean, that's a good
That's
score.
great playing.
So, good. Best of luck to those teams. I know this is always a fun time. Honestly, as a high schooler, it was always a tough time because you're playing for your school, but school's out, so you don't get any recognition really from the schools.
True.
Because you don't.
Over.
The assemblies there's no announcements that, hey,
Right.
Cheyenne just, you set a school record, you're out of school. So it's not like, you don't get that. So I feel for those guys, but we'll give them a shout out here because this is best of luck to them and both on Minnesota and North Dakota side. We're eagerly awaiting that. We'll watch closely. So with that, I know we teased talking some tips and tricks.
Well, I brought it up as I asked about your bachelor party. I understand you guys went golfing and it was windier than heck out there this past weekend.
Yeah, they call it Dakota Winds. That's down back where we did our podcast for PGA Championship at the sports book and their golf course out there, which is a really, really cool golf course. 27 holes, but the back nine's reversible, which is super cool. We played it, they called it the Wapton course, and so we actually played 19 through 27 instead of 10 through 18.
Okay.
Which was really cool. And just from like a golf course side of things, it's pretty crazy that just from the ones that I looked at, it's not like you're just playing a carbon copy hole just backwards. It's actually a completely different golf hole.
Yeah. That's
and
crazy.
By how they angle the tees.
Between tee boxes, and then all of a sudden it was like water comes into play on some of them, or it's just like, ooh, yeah, now that's a different hole. And the green complexes are such that like, one of the holes, and I can't remember which ones, but it's like for the par 3 that we played into the green, it was a fairly flat green that kind of ran off to the left, and then you played the par 4 that was on the other side of the green, and that obviously wasn't in use, but like now all of a sudden the green complex just completely changed because of the perception. Like your approach shot into the green is like a completely different green. It's super, super cool. We had a ton of fun. It was just windier than heck. So it was just trying to battle that. We all had a great time. And I think having watched a lot of my wedding party is the NDSU guys, and they obviously play at a very high level of golf. And then I had Nick, who was on here for the Hole in One show, and your son Chuck, and one of my best buddies, Jake Beatty. And I think their big thing when it all was said and done, they were just amazed about how straight the NDSU guys, and they didn't say me, but I felt like I hit it pretty good.
There.
I felt like I hit it pretty good.
Right.
But how straight they hit it in the wind. They don't lose their golf ball across the wind. And so as we were talking about it, it's like, that's probably a pretty typical thing. And Mark being a PGA pro for so long, I don't know how much you see that, and you said you played this weekend too. So I don't know.
I played Friday in the wind.
In the wind.
So talk me through it, just as an amateur here on a wind day. Is there a shot? Is it a mentality that I should, use a different club in this situation? Or is it?
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Here's the deal in the wind. And everybody take note of this. So it's not like an imagination that you, Lucas, and the NDSU guys hit the ball straight in the wind, because solid contact in the middle of a golf club results in very little side spin. Mm-hmm. Okay. And a golf ball is going to curve when it has side spin. A golf ball is really going to curve when there's side spin into the wind. Mm-hmm. It's just, it exaggerates that side spin. It amplifies the spin. So if a player's hitting the ball squarely, with no side spin on it, it's not going to move.
Sure.
So in the wind, probably the best tip, and it's very general, but it's make solid contact. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's not about trying to muscle it through the wind. It's not trying to necessarily curve the ball or fight the wind. You just want to hit solid contact.
Sure.
So, and that goes, depending upon where you're at in the game, determines how solid you hit the ball.
Yep.
It's kind of funny how that works.
Yep.
Now, so to hit the ball solid, there's a few things you should think about on the wind. Don't overswing. Take more club. Okay. You're going to be in real windy days. It's easy to get blown around a little bit. And, just a minute little change in your balance can affect where you're going to make contact. So take more club and swing easy. I mean, what's that saying? When it's breezy, swing easy.
When it's breezy, swing easy.
That's a saying.
That is a saying.
Oh, I like that.
You haven't heard that one before?
No.
And I would
I'm gonna
do
use it.
that. And the extra club, and I'm talking about irons, probably keeps the ball down a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, those balloon shots that go way in the air, that's not going to be good. So the game changes a little bit in the wind. And I would say it's got to be, meaning the game, how you should approach the game a little bit changes. You want
Sure.
to keep the ball down, take extra club, swing easy. You can widen your stance a little bit. And don't avoid days where it's windy, because that's how you learn to play in the wind.
Sure.
Right? I mean, there might be a situation where you're going to need to play in the wind. Maybe it's a company scramble, or maybe it's a tournament. And if there is a day where it's like you have that choice, I'm going to go play or I'm not going to play. Well, it's windy today, I'm not going to play. Go play.
Yeah.
And experiment a little bit with what works for you to keep that, to hit solid shots and to keep the ball down. I think what affected our group the most on Friday when we played was putting, chipping and putting.
Sure.
Just trying to stay stable. And sometimes when it gets windy around here, it actually affects the ball on the green.
Right?
Yep.
So have a mentality that, look, sometimes I'm going to miss a putt and it's not my fault. I mean, it literally, the wind took it.
Yep.
Sure.
And again, when you're putting, widen your stance. You might want to, just make sure your stability is there. And I've always thought on windy days, your short game has to carry you, because you're likely going to miss greens. You need to chip and putt.
Mhm.
And just get a little broader. And again, keep the ball down. You might not want to float lofted sand wedges into little chip shots. Hit that little chip and run the 8-iron, 9-iron
punch
as
eight.
Dad used. Yep.
Yeah.
And keep the ball under the wind. And use your imagination in the wind. Last tip is you need to envision, you need to almost see what that wind is doing, and then know what it's going to do to your golf ball.
Sure.
And don't fight the wind, play it.
Yep. So that's what I was going to say, kind of get to, but like make it as simple as possible. Like not trying to shape a shot into the wind. A lot of times I'd see the guys that, they're, we'll call it like an ego golfer. They just kind of feel like they've got this ultimate control over your golf ball. Like if it's a right to left wind, don't try and hit a cut back into the wind. Because then what happens when you double cross, all of a sudden you're 45 yards left. Yep. If you can't hit the shot, don't try and hit the shot. To your last point, play the wind. If it's a right to left wind, aim a little further right, hit a straight ball, and let the wind do the work.
Sure.
Goes back to when it's breezy, swing easy. That's my big deal is take an extra club, swing easy, and let the wind do the work. If it's
I like it.
If it's into the wind, take an extra club and let the wind stop it.
Yep.
Oddly
enough, some of I've won, fortunate, I did back in the day, won a couple pro-ams. Both times I won, it was blowing like crazy.
You're a grinder.
Well, I think what I need is
I just keep it easy.
Yeah, that day I could just see the shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was shot 68 at Perham. It was par 73. It was 500. It wasn't like I outweighted everybody and everybody shot 80 and I shot 74 and won. I actually still played really well, but it was because I still recall I could see the shots with the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So I might tell me that I need to use more of my imagination when I'm playing versus just trying to hit straight shots. But you can play good golf out there in the wind, but it's easy to really get off the rails.
You can dig yourself a hole really quickly. Yeah. And that's where I think, Dakota Magic kind of took our lunch money the first day because we'd never seen nobody that was playing. We had never seen the golf course. So we're like, you add on 25-mile-an-hour winds on top of not seeing the golf course. And all of a sudden it was like, oh boy, this is a reload here and a reload there. It's just like, it was tough.
Went through some golf balls.
Yeah, but we had a good time.
Well, listeners out there, if you want a chance to play Dakota Magic, of course you can drive down there and play. South of Fargo, about an hour. But on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, we're giving away passes. If you're fortunate enough to have a Dakota Magic golf ball
come out of the dispenser, right?
Almost like a slot machine.
Don't hit it.
Turn it in.
Hit it. Grab it. Turn it in. Free round of golf.
Get
Free
18
round of
holes.
golf.
And that's
with cart.
With
too,
the cart.
right?
Yeah, it's
a great deal.
It's a great deal. It's a great golf course. It was a fun time for sure. And we all came back with
wealthier,
not wealthier, but not dead broke.
Oh, okay.
So
good. And my favorite part of this, I wasn't there obviously, was the fact that my son had to redeem my winning ticket on Brooks Koepka. Mark, did you have a winning ticket?
I did.
Too?
Yeah. Lucas brought me back the money.
I love it.
Great.
It was good. I mean, you guys, congrats to you guys.
Yeah.
It was very good. They did the old double check.
Did they?
No, not really. But they thought, golf. Who bets on golf? No.
Might have been the only fools that's ever won on a golf bet there.
No, there's props to you guys. That's very good. I
Thanks.
mean, outright bets like that are difficult. So congrats to you guys there. I will say I had the outright winner at Monaco
Did you?
for Formula One.
Well,
so
let me guess.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
That's-
LJ.
Well, but I felt good there because it's one of the older races, very narrow track. There's not much passing. If you pick the guy that's in pole position, chances are he's going to win.
Yeah.
I placed 3 bets on Formula One. This is now a Formula One podcast for the next 2 minutes.
I can talk it.
I placed three bets.
Yep.
I took Verstappen because he was favorite, basically to cover my money. I
Yep.
took a long shot on Lewis Hamilton because
I
he's
like it.
one of the best to do it. He's
Yep.
just got a bad car.
Yep.
And then I
Mercedes is struggling.
I took middle of the road Fernando Alonso, who's been hot this year.
Yes, he has.
And he made some great comments about the car and how he felt there. And I had a chance because he was second. So he's on the front row. And his history, when he's on the front row in Monaco, he wins.
Okay.
And so I had better odds on him winning. I
Yep.
took Verstappen to cover. And my long
Love it.
shot was Lewis. Verstappen won. Alonso was second. And Hamilton was fourth. So I was feeling
Nice job.
pretty good when I was watching that. So I got to go redeem that. But
Okay. Well, for all those that are wondering what's going on with the Formula One talk, I really think this is an avoidance to talk about what happened in fantasy golf this week. They're doing everything to not talk about fantasy golf.
All right. Let's get into
it was a tough. I mean, it was a tough,
brutal.
tough
Wasn't it
week
tough
for the
week?
boys.
Wasn't a
For-
tough week for me.
It was a tough week.
All
for me.
right.
I guess I had 2 guys miss the cut. I mean, I had a couple other solid guys, but I'll make Chuck go first.
I'm
'cause
embarrassed.
I do know
I
how
had
he
3 guys miss the cut. Like, it's terrible.
Texas wind. We just talked about the wind. They need to
Kirk,
squeeze.
Palmer, and Cole all decided they didn't want to play the weekend. So I battled to I think this might be my lowest team total, 246.
Oh, this isn't worst ball, Chuck. You know that,
46.
right?
Terrible.
I shouldn't
LJ?
laugh. I'm not much better.
LJ?
I'm not much. I was 294.50 with 2 guys missing the cut.
Okay.
That was tough
Mark's
week
over
for me.
there. You just can't wait to talk
Just
about
grinning.
this team.
All my guys made the cut. That's the
Wow.
good news.
Nice work.
They underperformed on the weekend.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm riding the Scheffler train.
Yeah.
That guy, I'm just
It is amazing. Can we just
Oh,
talk
that
about how
is
the fact he's
ridiculous.
played for like 5 straight weeks and he's
Yeah.
always there? And then you look at the strokes gained. He gained 16 strokes on the field and he lost 4 putting.
Yeah.
He's not putting well at
He's
all.
not putting well.
And the guy just makes finishes. It's how? How is he not burnt out? That's unbelievable.
no.
Mr. Hoagie
Yep.
went
Battle.
69-74 on the week. Barely made the cut.
Yeah.
66 first round, and then not so hot after
Hiccup.
that.
Yeah.
Our guy Brendan Todd. Brendan Todd. Cut
Brendan.
me.
Barundin is what they run out of use on your nameplate maker.
I don't know. Did they run out of jokes at the interesting joke store that you shop at?
Dietrich Horschel Hostler. The Horschel Hostler. Yeah, it's 351. Not a great points total, but I
351,
doubled
okay.
my money on that
Nice
one.
job. Good job.
So just
Nice.
winners keep
to
winning.
go.
Congrats.
Winners.
We're moving on. Chuck and I, we're past it.
I am so into this week.
This week,
This baby's winning.
I think I heard they call it we're playing for the most coveted handshake in golf. Going to Jack's place, the Memorial Tournament at Muirfield Village, Dublin, Ohio.
Yep.
And this I don't know if you guys remember, was it 2020 where they literally finished the round and they had their equipment on the golf course tearing up greens because Jack redid the entire
That's right.
place. And they were putting out on the 18th hole and they were pushing out all their equipment to just go rip up the place.
Oh, wow.
They
finished.
regrassed.
They regrassed. They added 100 yards. They redid all the green complexes. They played it last year, but or the year, but last 2 years. But it is a different golf course than if they haven't played it in a couple whiles. But just to recap on last week when Emiliano Grillo won in a playoff, and that was a fun. I don't know if you saw his deal
I
on
did, yeah.
on the 18. He hit it into their aqueduct and it rolled all
Yeah, it kept
the way
rolling.
back. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And then how about what he did on the tee box? Brought that kid. I mean,
couple
that's
kids.
a core memory for those kids. He
Yep.
seems like a
Yep.
really nice guy. I know I've had him on my teams a couple times, and I think he was definitely due for one. He's been playing well recently, and that was a good win for him. And then my big note for the last week is, how about Ricky Fowler?
Mm-hmm.
Little top 10 finish.
Yep.
Gets him into the U.S. Open
Beautiful.
and the Open Championship.
Yeah,
This guy is,
Love it.
dare I say, back.
Yep. I love it.
Dare I say, back.
And he
good
had
to
to go
see it.
back to Butch Harmon to do it.
Yep.
Yep.
Right?
The
I
thing
mean,
is,
he did with Butch. I mean, Ricky, if you looked at his golf swing a couple of years ago, it was not right. Man.
people make fun of Jordan Spieth and what his practice routine was. Like when he was doing that
Yeah,
funky
right.
dip. Like Ricky was actually playing that. You know what I mean? Like
It was odd. Yeah.
it was different.
Yeah.
So good for Ricky, because I really hope his next step's a major, because he's won here and there. But I think if he can get a major, that's going to cement him up there for sure. But there again, back to Memorial this week, elevated events. So you've got there again, and I think we talk about it every time, but the value as far as DraftKings, the value's there down the way because of it's an elevated event.
Yep.
So a lot of good players playing. This course, I think I saw was 12th most predictable on the schedule. So course history, I think that's what I'm leaning on heavy this week.
Yep.
Guys that play here, there's two pretty big horses for the course as far as John Rahm and Patrick Cantlay. These guys seem to run away with it. They always show up. They always play well. But you got to be accurate off the tee. It's one of those deals where if you hit it in the rough, it's a penalty.
It's penal.
Yes.
As
So
they
you
say.
got to be able to drive it.
Yep.
It's I think I got it down 7,500 yards is what they're going to be playing it at.
sir.
Yep.
So, and it's not like they're playing in elevation; they're playing in Dublin, Ohio. So,
Right.
It's going to be definitely a true test out there. I'm excited to watch. I think it's from what I've heard, the course conditions are phenomenal, and the guys are ready to go. So, I don't know if you got anything else, Chuck, as far as what we're looking for course wise, but
No, other than, and you touched on a little bit, is driving accuracy or strokes gained driving is a key stat that I've been looking at. I like your course history. I jotted down Rahm and Cantlay. I hadn't come upon that, but they didn't make my squad. So
Really?
I'm hoping there's no fact to that, LJ. No,
I hope it's
I'm
I hope
avoiding
it
those
is
guys.
the fact. I hope
okay. All right.
Cantlay. I just thinking about Cantlay.
I can't bet
It's-
on Cantlay.
I mean, his numbers are solid,
I know.
but it's like, I don't know if he plays so slow, the TV cameras, if they avoid him sometimes in
the deal is, and we don't have to get into like the whole nitty and gritty of it, but he's not the only one to play slow. Like originally I was pretty frustrated with it because it's the Masters and it just seemed kind of disrespectful, but like there's a lot of guys that play slow, and it's because nobody gets punished for playing slow.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's a whole nother podcast. We
It
could spend
is,
the
yeah,
whole
I
time
mean,
on slow play. You're right.
And this is coming from someone that I hate slow play. I mean, I would rather play a round of golf in 3 hours than 4.5.
Yep.
You know, and especially like college rounds. I mean, you could think you're playing with guys that think they're playing in the Masters when you're playing in Newton, Kansas. You know, like
It's important to him, but oh, come on.
Pick it
you
up.
got to play a little. To me, that's part of the game to be able to play it well quickly.
Sure.
We're not out here to make sure that you are like
Cantley's tough to
100%
watch.
set. And anyway,
He's tough to watch.
like you said, that's a whole nother podcast. But,
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Champ gets
Champ,
the review.
yeah, I'm
Champ
ready.
goes first.
This
Let's
is
go.
it. And
Let's hear it.
I feel guilty throwing this out first because you guys, it's just gonna really, you're gonna go, why am I even playing?
Let's hear it.
All right, I got Brendan Todd again.
Sure.
He's playing well, made the cut. This is his kind of track. Adam Schenk, I put him on the team, runner up.
Yeah.
He's hungry. His ball striking's fantastic. I don't know what his course history is here, but
I don't know.
Recent form goes into a lot. I think guys that on the tour, especially when they get hot, that's it's good.
yep. I took Keegan Bradley again. He's had a lot of history here. I don't know what his track record is on the golf course, but he's a grinder and he's been playing pretty decent.
So far, to me, this is pretty contrarian to what I would think for
he's
an
got some big
elevated
dogs
event.
coming up. He's got some big
Oh,
dogs.
I got some big dogs coming up, boys.
He's got money for some big dogs.
Then I went, somebody's got to be 70th in the world rankings.
Damon.
Joel Damon.
Wow. Then he obviously
13
went
of
like
18.
Chef and
Yeah, he's
JT
got to
or
go
something.
heavy.
Then I've got a couple guys that are going to
Mhm.
lead the charge. Johnny Rahm, may have heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler. I found a way to get them both on my team. And those guys are going to be going 1-2 punch all the way.
1, 2,
So,
punch.
Here's
He's calling it.
my deal. Here's my deal with that. You look at the last couple of weeks, we'll call it like a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, you're right.
Rahm and Scheffler like flip a coin. And it's
They
like,
do.
is it your week or is it my week?
Yeah.
Any tournament they're
So
in.
it's going to be Rahm's week now, and Chef is going to.
Yeah. So that's
But
why.
Chef's still going to like finish 10th.
Well, okay. So then, yeah, you look
I
at
like it, Mark.
So I kept Scheffler, and I'll get into it because
I
I'll
like it,
go
Mark.
next. But
Yeah.
not bad. But again,
I like
there's
that
my,
team.
There's my deal as far as Chef. Just at some point, and I hope I'm wrong, but at
Burnout.
some point, I think he's just got to.
You're right.
He's got to take a weekend off. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I kept him off there. I went the Rahm Cantlay route. I stacked Cantlay.
You did, huh? Okay.
I think his course history is, and there again,
Yeah,
my
you're
model, my model is course history.
Yep.
And so I just think it's too good to ignore. Then I went Billy Horschel, who I believe he won here. Hopefully he broke out the good shoes.
Yep, he loves this place.
So I'm going Billy Ho, and then my one deviation, I was going to Steven Yeager, who not necessarily strong course history, but he leads the field, most of the field in strokes gained tee to green. So he's good off the tee, have a good make the cut.
Approach. Yep.
And then to round it out, I went Kevin Streelman, who's got some good course history here as well.
Okay.
So
Is he in good form?
I was going off course history,
Okay,
so I didn't
okay.
necessarily look at recent form.
Yeah.
That one, I mean, he was low. He was 6,700 because I stacked Cantlay and Rahm.
Got it.
So because I was so focused on course history.
Yep.
It could be my downfall, but I'm hoping I get the guys make cut.
Right.
I like it. Solid.
Maybe a Billy Ho run. We'll
Okay.
see.
Okay. I've avoided the big dogs.
Really?
And I went around that average $8,300 is what you got to spend.
Yep.
So I loaded up.
Is that
Was-
because you think everyone else is going big dogs?
Yeah, I'm going to go contrarian. I did a single entry
Mhm.
contrarian deal. Cut maker Adam Scott, first off.
Yep.
Yeah, he's playing good.
Sam Burns is my top spend. I like where his game's at right now. He just finished 6th. Oh, hum. Then I went Corey Connors. If you remember a couple weeks ago at
Yeah.
PJ, he's right there, right?
Played
Going
really
into
well.
the final
Yeah.
round. So I think he's right there. I like Ricky Fowler. He's got no pressure now.
Ooh, yeah.
He's feeling.
He's made
he's
both
in.
U.S. Open. Yeah, he doesn't have to play to
Yep.
improve.
I think it's a little bit off the little weight off his shoulders. He's gonna
I
come
like
off.
this team.
And then Jason Day, little under
Oh,
the radar.
man.
to say that.
Jason Day. And
Those
then my-
guys were all in 8,300.
This is my when it's breezy, swing it easy guy, Brian Harmon.
Yeah, he played
coming
well
into
in
good
last-
form
yeah.
right now, and he's a trender. When he's playing well, you want him on your team, and he's finished top 15 the last 2 events. That's my squad. Nothing flashy.
Last two,
There's-
top 15. That's
There's
good.
no Scotty Chef. There's no Cantlay. But I'm going just everybody. Hopefully, cut makers in there right there.
cut makers, and they make some birdies
Yep.
on the way in.
Ricky Fowler, mark it down. This guy's getting a W this weekend.
I like that. We got a little bit of everything here.
Yeah, this
I
is the
think.
type of information that folks could take and make some money with.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But the beauty of this is the 2 different approaches. And you go like a Mark Big Dogs, top 2 guys. You can do it, right? And you did it with Rom and Chef. That's beautiful. It's a great way to start. And then you were still able to find solid guys to
Well,
complement.
that's why I like these elevated events so much.
Yeah.
Is because it's just the quality of golf.
Because after those 2, do you have a 6 in your lineup?
He would have to, right?
67 maybe?
Damon 6,400.
64. Okay.
Todd 6,700.
Yep.
Shank 6,800.
Okay.
Guy just finished runner up. He's $6,800.
Right. Yeah. That's finding those guys that are coming in with great form in the 6s. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is fun. I enjoyed doing this. I think we are also finding our form here about midway
Well, I
through
don't
the-
know about me. This week
You
I am.
started
Though.
hot.
This
Yeah,
week
yeah.
I am. I'm coming back.
You got to bounce
I
back.
had a
This
little
is- this
burnout,
is the
but I'm
week.
back.
I will say I'm going to argue an outright winner is tougher than DraftKings, though. So your Brooks Koepka
Thank you,
redemption.
Brooksy. The 20 on Brooks to win was
That is hard to do.
lovely.
So we're finding our form.
There you
We're
go.
getting into it. This has been good. So, best of luck to you boys on the
Hey, back at you.
tournament. Best of luck to the high school teams playing. Hopefully making some state moves, and that'll wrap it up for us.
Thanks to
tonight. Thanks
Holsum
again.
Holloway.
Thanks
Yep.
again for Holloway.
Best of
and
luck,
some
Holloway.
Great insights there. And don't forget to just say good morning.
Say good morning.
Love it.
And when it's breezy,
Swing easy. There we go. That's going to do it for us here, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.